equinox, post-fall autumnal equinox forecast. And we're really happy that you're here. We are excited to deconstruct what's been going on since we last spoke for the summer solstice. And we're also post-eclipse season. So why don't we begin with a chant to Ganesh? First of all, I'm Reivin Alexandria, and we have Daya Dhara here.
Hey.
And yeah, so let's get started.
Awesome.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. All right. So
Awesome.
let's get started officially.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to just dive in. First and foremost, just thanking everyone for watching this, being here live with us, watching it on YouTube, watching the recording. We are so excited to just continue to do this work and give this to you. And I just wanted to put in the chat the Prophecy Coven Patreon. We have started it just a few months ago, and we just really want to be really intentional about our information that we're sending. So please do join us. There are free and paid memberships available. You get to support our venture in continuing this work and this passion that we have for Vedic astrology and oracle modalities, as well as, during prophetic times that we live in. So do follow us on Patreon, Prophecy Coven. And yeah, I guess we can just jump in right away to what we've been going through since, the beginning of this year. And yeah, so Raven, you can start us off with a little recap.
Yeah, so this whole year has been the Hermit year, and 2025, when you add up all the numbers, it equals 9. So this is also a numerology 9 year, and in Vedic astrology, 9 is associated with the planet Mars. And also in the Chinese zodiac, it is, or in a Chinese astrology, it's the wood snake year. So the reason why it's a hermit year is because in the tarot, the hermit card is ruled by the number 9. And so that, like I said, is connected to Mars. So we've been talking about a spiritual warrior theme. But as we get deeper into the year, it's also just been like a year of like heightened challenges. I think like Mars represents challenges and courage and taking initiative, and so the hermit is known for going within, and so definitely a year of inner reflection and learning how to see the see the self as always having to face like this battlefield in this age, which according to Vedic cosmology is called Kali Yuga, and which is all about duality and the tension that we face while here in this on this earth, in this galaxy, um, between the mind, and that's very hermit thing. The mind is always trying to see through duality, and that plays out in our lives in so many different ways. And so that's why we're here today, is to help everyone connect with the power of the snake this year, which is about wisdom. It's the snakes on the hermit staff, and it helps us understand ourselves and understand helps us under which helps us understand the world around us. So, and the number 9 is about spiritual endings and the dream realm and Kabbalah, Yasad. So manifestation through deep inner reflection, I would say. What about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, we just came out of eclipse seasons. We had our second eclipse portal of the year. Eclipses come basically twice a year in pairs. And so we are literally coming out of the eclipse portal. And luckily, right now, we're in Navaratri. And this is a really auspicious time to worship the goddess. And so I think that there's just been so many portals. I think in this modern age, especially like connected with New Age philosophy, there's just always a portal, right? The 999 portal, the 88 portal, the 77 portal. But really, in reality, every day is a portal, especially regarding like our charts. And everything we're going to talk about today is going to be a general energy. But if you have looked at your Vedic chart, of course, we're looking at it from the ascendant as well as the moon sign, as that's what Vedic astrology is all about. It's not it's not looking just at the sun, but all of the planets and how they're working together. And so I feel like with these eclipses, with the changing of seasons, we're just kind of again reflecting, but also maybe still in that shedding energy like the snake. And snakes actually shed throughout the year more than once, and especially if they're younger they shed more because they're growing faster. So just kind of think about that, like what have you been shedding during this time, and what's that inner reflection, and where is it going to lead us? And I think when we tap in, and I think we should just kind of go into what September's kind of all about. But yeah, like on October 7th, we had the blood moon lunar eclipse on September
Yeah, September
21st.
7th.
September. What did I say? What did I say?
You said
Summer?
October.
October. Oh, and September 21st, just recently, we had the partial solar eclipse, excuse me, in Virgo. So we actually know that with the nodes like Rahu and Ketu, or the North Node and South Node, respectively, in Vedic astrology, they are in the signs Aquarius and Leo. So that is going to differ from where the what tropical astrologists are saying. Yet this solar eclipse happened in Virgo, and that's why it was a partial solar eclipse, because Ketu is actually in Leo. So that's why they weren't all aligned at the time. But this shift of Aquarius and Leo being with the nodes, and they're really important in Kali Yuga because they have more of a karmic energy, Rahu and Ketu. I think it's also like showing this shedding and this changing in a societal space where also it's like your power, your strength, which is that Leo energy. So yeah, I'm just gonna go from there. I think that was like, what's coming and what's happening. But yeah, what else is happening right now?
Yeah, another important point is here at Prophecy, we like to gather for these forecasts like around um, huge turning points throughout the year, which we call the equinoxes and the solstices. So we just last time we met up was the summer solstice back in June, which is the height of the sun's power. And so since then, it's waned. The sun has begun to wane. And so that means that right now right after the eclipse, it was like literally the day after, it was the autumnal equinox, which is where night and day are balanced. And also leading up until that point for about like 2 weeks or so, it was the ancestral season called Pitru Paksha, which is like when in Vedic cosmology, when the ancestral realm is extremely close to this realm. And so yeah, we're just in that general ancestral time right now. And like you said, we're in Navaratri, the 9 nights, which is also connected to the year 9 that we're in. And so it's definitely like you were saying, like, and then there was a big 999 portal. So the number 9 is really like really important this year with endings and um understanding like the spiritual work that you need to do before you move on to like um a new point in your life. Because there's just with these eclipses, they're all about huge shifts. Like Aquarius and Leo are some of like the biggest energies in the zodiac. Aquarius, like you were saying, like Rahu and K2, Rahu being in Aquarius and K2 being in Leo. Aquarius represents like the biggest scope of like the universe, like the biggest cosmic energy coming down to the smallest energy of like the human, and then the atom and divinity, right? That's what Aquarius represents. So like that big energy in that way, and also connecting to like our society and our humanitarianism as humans and our communities. And then Leo represents like the ego. So that's like the other huge aspect that's being popped off right now. So community in big ways, and who we are as humankind, by Rahu driving us. And we can see that in an eerie way being played out in technology, with the uncanniness and how artificial intelligence and how humanity is facing like what it means to be human, and how we use our powers of good and evil. It's very Aquarius themes. And then you have Leo showing us like big egos and authorities, with K2, who is really about the eclipsing of that, which we have seen a lot of like shifts and major shakeups across the world when it comes to authority. All of this playing on the field of Jupiter going Atichari super fast, which he usually takes about, he takes almost like he's going to go through Cancer like really fast, which he would take like 2 or 3 months longer to go through that sign when he goes into it October, and he hasn't moved this fast like in 5,000 years. And so Jupiter is all about expansion, but for spiritual piety. So we can definitely sense that as well, like moral authorities coming through and what's right and what's wrong and justice. And then we also have Saturn, who is with Neptune in Pisces, creating all of these illusions. And that's one of the big themes, I think, is illusions. If you've had anything in your life that you needed to let go recently, it was probably based on an illusion, and you just wouldn't face it, something that you're avoiding. And so the smoke can still be clearing from those things with the eclipse season. We have a month for the lunar eclipse in Aquarius to affect us in the 6 months for the solar eclipse. So let the smoke clear. Let's get into October.
Yeah, well,
Um,
actually, before we go, we're like dead in Virgo season. So let's talk a little bit about Virgo season because I think you went like really cosmic and like when we look at the world in a global sense, sometimes it's overwhelming, right? And so I think the sun in Virgo that it just happened on September 17th all the way up to October 17th is really powerful, especially with the solar eclipse being in Virgo as well, because it is like you've been really honing into my mind because I have a Virgo moon in Hasta, and it is really about like that daily life. Like, what are you doing on a daily basis? And I think some of the biggest, which we understood as our biggest takeaways of the energy right now is living a sattvic life, right? Living a life of goodness and being able to really create like smart investments for your future wealth, for your future health. And you also mentioned like this illusory energy that Saturn is giving us. And remember, Saturn stays in a sign for 2.5 years. So Saturn went into Pisces, I believe, I don't have the date here, but when did Saturn go into Pisces? Like the earlier this year?
Saturn went to Pisces. Here, I got it written down right here. Saturn. He went retrograde July 12th.
Right.
1 second. I can pull it up. Keep talking. I'll say something.
Yeah. So I think that with Saturn and Pisces right now, although we have this like global upheaval and like because we have the internet, everything is at our fingertips. So it feels like we have to engage with every single thing. It really is about that daily discipline and your spiritual lessons. Even with your activism or your artistry, it's like, what are you doing on a daily basis to regulate yourself, right? Because
March 29th.
you Okay, yes, because we need to have balance. And I think a big theme that we were talking about, like coming into this fall, it's like the idea of balancing our desires with detachment and being able to see, how do we really get that harmony within ourselves? And that's why we do this, right? That's why we do prophecy and why we're even looking at the planets, or why anyone looks at the planets, is because we want to see, are we in harmony and are we in alignment? And if we're not, can we see why through the sky and then be able to like give some remedies? And that's what we're here to do, is to shine some light on these illusions, this these shadows, this because the eclipses, I mean, Rahu Ketu, they're shadows, so it's like being able to lift up the veil, which I think the goddess is really helping us during this time, and see the truth and reality of our lives.
Yeah, and so a lot of that is connected to, for example, Mars in Virgo was all about like the details of life and getting to like the nitty-gritty and wanting to be constructive. So those who were able to listen to the call of Mars, when he went into Virgo, probably, you looked at your life and you were able to say, like, hey, this is good, this is not good. I need to make changes here, or I need to be fearless. I need to stand up for myself, or I need to make this decision, or I need to make this change. Even though there's a lot of retrogrades over the summer, it was still like a retrograde of like making choices or having things taken away, or having to face certain shadows where a decision needed to be made. Whereas like we're used to people saying like never make decisions or never do anything new. Well, also, retrogrades are really for you to like revisit things and reassess your relationship with things. And it just so happened we have this eclipse season that, just like I was saying, like is taking something away but to add something. And like you were saying, it is great to ground yourself in the day to day right now with Sun and Virgo, but also Venus is with K2. And so a lot of things are destined or karmically fated right now. Like especially if you're struggling with letting something go, trust that there is like some element of fate that's at play whenever Venus and K2 are together, because K2 represents past lives and represents karmic fated things in that way that may come back to you where you have to face them. And Venus is all about the pleasure and the love and the beauty and the connections. So, look at where Venus and K2 are in your chart so that you can see what you're meant to really understand, like how to deepen your relationship with that thing over the next couple of weeks while they're together. And then
Yeah.
also,
Well, I was
yeah,
just gonna throw a card out
yeah,
for
let's throw a
just
card.
right now, like right at this moment. What's the energy? And I picked from the archetype deck, and it's like literally the dead end and the underworld, because I was like, "Ooh, what's the dead end?" And literally on the bottom of the deck is apocalypse. So, we had this little funny trend happen this week, particularly about the rapture, right? And a lot of people, they got sucked in, or people made fun of it and make jokes about it. But there is a rapture happening. It's a rapture and like of our mind and like being like awakening. And so I think right now, getting the dead end, it's like we do have to make some changes. We do have to change and even maybe our perspectives of our shadows, and so that we can confront our fears and move away. I don't know. That's what I'm getting from these cards.
Yeah, I got the Venus card here, and then I also got the sword, which is like make the change.
Mm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I thought the rapture was hilarious, and I was definitely one of those people joking about it, and will still continue to joke about it because it's funny as hell that we live in this world. That's what I feel like, like the whole thing with that, like it's like you got people, it's like we're all trying to cope, right? Like we all grew up under like Christianity in a way, like in like a weird country situation where it was like Christianity is like the unspoken rule of the land. Somehow we managed to have like the least Christian, quote unquote, people found this country, and yet we still live in this like Christian nationalist, evangelical, wacky place sometimes. And so it was definitely like this sword, and I feel like people need an outlet. And so people who get kind of like caught in like the literal interpretation of things without really doing their research, it's like hard to make a change because you just keep looking at the false reflection. Whereas Venus right now, like you were saying, like we're supposed to like, to actually look at the most important things in our life and our values, and it comes with like not losing your mind whenever the world's like spiraling out of control. And I feel like, crazy thing, that guy who wrote the song Jesus Take the Wheel, he passed away recently, and I thought that was insane. Like it's like literally like someone was like, yeah, no one's taking a wheel, who's at the wheel right now? That's kind of
Mm.
like, and I feel like that's why it's important for us to grab the sword right now, and in spite of all of like the philosophies, the belief systems that don't give us the ability to connect the sensual with the immaterial, right? It's like we're kind of facing like the shadows of like trying to get rid of the divine feminine aspects of spirituality, and all of those ugly shadows are coming out. And like people, it's like it at the end of the day, yeah, it's not funny, that we live in this situation where we're so helpless. A lot of people are helpless, and they get lost and stuff. So I think that's why we do things like prophecy, so that we can continue to carry a thread beyond that. We just kind of have to be
100%.
like the needles in the haystack, I guess.
Yeah, and I think even if we want to move the energy into October, because it's right around the corner, we're just a few days away. It is about sensuality, I'm feeling, because we get like Sun moving into Libra October 17th. You know, we have a Mercury Libra conjunction. You have a Sun Mars conjunction in Libra. So it's like a lot of sensual energy. We have the new moon. So before I go there, on October 6th, we have a full moon in Pisces, Uttara Bhadrapada. So that is going to be conjunct with Saturn. So, you know, when a full moon happens, it is a lot of releasing. And I think this full moon is really going to be like, hey, what, again, making changes. I think this is the big theme for the rest of the year is like, what has not helped you needs to go. And if you don't like, if you don't let it go, then the universe or God or, you know, Great Spirit, they're gonna let it go. They're gonna force you to let it go. Or they're just gonna like kind of torture you until you just go, oh my gosh, like I need to let this go. And I feel that that full moon in Pisces, I'm getting that energy of letting go. Like truly, if you, and again, if you haven't let those things go that need to be gone, then it's going to be a little tough for you because you're going to be fighting again your desires with detachment, but you're like mixing it all together and it brings confusion. So, yeah, what do you think with October's energy?
Yeah, just kind of like you're saying, like get ahead of yourself right now because we did get like this. It's like now's a chance to let certain things go because there's going to be new opportunities that want to come to you in October. And if you just keep holding on to things that you don't feel like are healthy for you, then you won't be able to get these blessings that come for October, which is a lot of opportunities for certain people, hopefully people that are watching right now. But like I said, like we had that sword and you see how she's holding it. It's actually connected to the nakshatra Purva Bhadrapada, which is where Rahu is right now. And which is the whole theme of the eclipse was to cut things off, but make it spiritual. You know, like don't just like give up things without any heart. You put your whole heart into where you want to go right now in your life, and that's what Venus is asking of us. And then especially yeah for like the full moon in Pisces Uttara Bhadrapada, because that's where Saturn has been this whole time, getting us prepared for the future. You know, he's in the ocean right now just asking us to let go and surrender when there's so many things that can come from the bottom of the ocean to us, like because he's in there and he's churning up all these energies and he just wants it to flow towards us. So and so then if we pay attention to what's coming up next after there, oh, Venus goes into Virgo. Venus has been really important so far. What are you thinking about that?
Well, so Venus is debilitated in Virgo, right? On
Mm-hmm.
October 9th to November 7th. So which is interesting though. We have a conjunction. Oh no, that's something else. Sorry. So yes, I think again, Venus to me is about desires. It's about our creativity. It's also Venus is also in Vedic astrology the guru of the demons, right? He in Vedic astrology, we can just call him they. They kind of teach you the art of pleasure. And so right now, I kind of feel like it's a test. There are tests coming our way. And this is the universe is always throwing us tests, and they're all, unique to our lessons that our soul needs. And so maybe there are going to be some tests that are going to come your way in October, October 9th, and it could be involving relationships, it can be involving businesses. Because we're also coming up to Jupiter going retrograde, and Saturn is still retrograde until November. I think it's really those choices that we're talking about are like daily choices. They're not necessarily like big investments in like a house or a car. Like you really shouldn't make any big investments in a house or a car, especially when there are big retrogrades happening. I know it's kind of hard because retrogrades happen all the time. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Like there's gonna be some tests, and I wanted to kind of talk about something else, but before that, I pulled 32 resurrection, literally. And it says come back, rebirth, and renewal, which I think is really funny because we're talking about the rapture, and like the whole consciousness right now is about the rapture, at least in the US, right? We're just kind of making fun of it, or, people are like, oh my gosh, I fell for it again, because this is not the first time people have said a certain date the rapture is happening. But there is a resurrection happening. And I think, Myra's saying that feels like this entire year so far has been a big test. It's the wood snake year. What are snakes? Snakes are cunning sometimes. Snakes are poisonous. They are venomous. They also have a lot of medicine. So I think that there is some tests coming, but there's a rebirth happening. So I really feel even though Venus will be debilitated and maybe this year has been really tough, in October, and I've heard this by other astrologers, it's a month of miracles because things are going to start lighting up. And I really feel like if you take the time to really see your daily practice, you can have a resurrection moment. You can have a rebirth moment, which I think is so beautiful because in September it's a dead end, right? But in October we're resurrecting.
Yeah, like I think that it's super important as well because you have let me see, you have Sun, Mercury, conjunction. Yeah, by mid-October, right before Jupiter is going into Cancer, we have a lot of Libra energy and Mercury is fresh out of Virgo where Mercury rules Virgo and he's exalted. So there's a lot of good information that you could be gathering right now for yourself in order to prepare for new opportunities that are coming in October. And it's crazy because like I was saying, like the element of air is really going to be important. So a lot of like moving things, unexpected things in October. And then I have the breathwork card here.
Oh, nice.
You know, yeah, definitely like develop like a breathwork practice right now. Allow your breath to expand your spirit and fill your heart. And then also, yeah, a lot about writing too. Journaling. I have moon journal comprehension. Following the moon cycles is going to be really important right now. It can help you comprehend like what you're going through. Um, and here, let's see what else we have.
I love that. I think that there is something to say about writing with Virgo because
Yeah.
Virgo is Hasta and Hasta is the hand. And again, we're talking daily habits today. I feel like even with everything we're going to talk about, it's really about what are you doing on a daily basis and what are you building? What are you letting go? And I think that journaling is a beautiful way. So just for that moon journal to come out, it's like, yeah, it's time to journal, especially in October. If you're finding yourself feeling a little frustrated or a little confused as well.
Yeah, especially just that inner reflection can help you sort of see things from like a different perspective if especially if you've had your head down, working hard, feeling like things aren't coming and you don't know where things are going and everything's uncertain. Writing is like really beneficial to get all your thoughts out on paper. It's also like a huge remedy in Vedic astrology to write mantras and especially with Hasta. And I got the reverse death card here. I think this is saying like maybe a lot of people have gone through a big change and it feels like you haven't come out of it. It's like, when am I going to come out of this change? When is that sun going to come up? You know, like that is actually coming for a lot of people once Jupiter gets out of Gemini out and like the sun is like, imagine he's in Purnavasu right now, which represents the light, which is like the return of the light. Like you were saying, that's always going to be a delay because you know how it's like you always want the sun to come out, but it's like not quite. And then you're watching the movie, and then like there's a sun. We're like at that part right before the sun comes out. So you know,
Mm.
definitely hold on, have faith. There, you got the reverse death is like heavy, heavy things that need to come out. Journal, do art. Really important time, especially if there's blocks in your life. You might need to do some like getting stuff out of your system.
And just to reiterate, so we have that Virgo season. It's ending on October 17th. And on October 18th, mark this on the calendars, Jupiter enters Cancer. And Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. And so, like Raven mentioned in the beginning of this call, Jupiter moving really fast through Gemini it's like a tornado because he's moving through Adra, which is literally the storm, and then he goes into Purnavasu, which just feels lighter. I'm sure you guys probably felt that difference of the nakshatras, and then he enters into Cancer, and that is going to be just an auspicious time because Jupiter he wasn't at his best, and Jupiter is actually in the I believe it's called Marakaraka in the third house, which is like a death house for Jupiter. So it's what I read from a line today because I have Jupiter in the third. It was saying a saint goes to a press conference or something like that, like a PR agency. It's like you're just out of place in with Jupiter and Gemini. But once Jupiter goes into Cancer, he's in place, and Jupiter is all about expansion. So if you haven't felt an expansive energy, and it's just been a lot of trials and tribulations, October 18th could be a really big day for you to just feel that shift, for that new opportunity, new door. And that's all the way till December 5th, but he goes retrograde as well. So,
Yeah, and the reason is that is because Jupiter is influencing Saturn retrograde, and when Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, it's in like the Virgo Pisces axis, and that's the reason why we keep bringing up daily life, because it's triggering like Virgo, which is daily life and being detailed, meticulous, like kind of like very clean and focused on like the details and the refinement in life, balance but logic, and then you have Pisces, which is like the opposite. And it's like just like the big ocean of imagination and whimsy and spirituality and, you know, completely escapism.
mm,
So it's like things that we want to escape from past lives, things that we don't want to deal with in future lives. It's like literally coming to like a point ahead right now. And
mm,
so once Jupiter goes into Cancer, he's gonna now influence Saturn, who's been reminding us of those things. Like, you gotta go to work, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Oh, you better change your wellness habits, you better change your spiritual life, you better change those people in your life, you better finally have boundaries, you better let go finally. Like, whatever you're dealing with, Saturn's been in your ear telling you that right now. Or he's like yanking it out of your hand. But guess who comes to give something right to you if you've been putting in the work? Jupiter. Jupiter's going to hand you something, obviously depending on charts, but have faith, and because it's a time of miracles, going into October, and you kind of have to be tapped in through your heart, right? Right now, like trusting. Um, yeah.
yeah, and then we go into the new moon, October 21st, which is in Swati, and that is Libra. So again, we're getting that Libra energy more mid-October. Again, this is different from traditional tropical astrology that's like probably already in Libra season right now. But in the middle of October, October 18th, I'm sorry, October 17th, it becomes Libra season. October 21st, we have that new moon. October 27th, Mars enters Scorpio, which is actually a exaltation for Mars because Mars rules Scorpio. So we have planets in exaltation. Even right now, Mercury's in Virgo, so there is this exaltation. So if you've been like for me, I found like a boost of writing this last couple of weeks or like this last week and a half. And that can just be when a planet is exalted. So we got something to look forward to. By the end of October, we have, Jupiter being exalted in Cancer, Mars being exalted in Scorpio. Sun is debilitated. And again, Sun is like our ego and it's our identity. So it really is about being humble right now. I got the Devil card. And as you see, there's like a snake around this person's neck, these two people's neck, which they're probably like lovers. And again, we're in the wood snake year. So in relationships, and this is like a key takeaway from the month of October, we need to set high standards in love and partnership. And the moment that we do that, then we're able to really see these miracles take place because we're putting, like Raven was saying, we're putting our boundaries, we're showing up for ourselves, and we're not letting ourselves be taken advantage of. Or if you are the one doing this, you're taking advantage of someone else or something. So really making sure that you just are communicating deeply during this time, that you're expressing your inner truth, and that's going to allow you to have external clarity. And then of course, just reiterating that Jupiter in Cancer is really going to help us with higher learning, with guru, with mentors. So again, if you're looking to invest in, more of your bigger goals, it's better to do it after October 18th ish.
Yeah, and then just wanted to add this: Mars is exalted in Capricorn, but he does rule Scorpio.
Oh, he's not
So
exalted in Scorpio.
yeah, so slight difference there, because usually like the planet won't be exalted in like the zodiac sign that it rules. Um, it's like exalted in like a friend's zodiac. So
Oh.
yeah, which actually is good to bring up anyway, because Mars is going to be exalted in Capricorn at the beginning of next year, which is where he likes to be, like when he's not in his own house. He likes to go to Capricorn because there's a lot of structure there. He knows what to expect. It's ruled by Saturn. He can actually get work done. He's like the work warrior. And so as we're preparing for that, I want to see what card from like the stones come out, since we're talking about Mars and going towards that Earth exaltation while he's in Scorpio. Really, oh my God. I love how simple our messages are today, because they're kind of like straight to the point. It says, releasing the past. just release some past right now. Just go ahead and release some of that past right now, because one of the things that I like about Vedic astrological remedies, it's like, hey, if you know in the future you're probably going to have to release something, why don't you go ahead and just release it right now and just avoid that whole situation. Like, right? It's like you don't have any control over that. Take a little control right now before it controls you, kind of thing. Because those karmic reactions are going to be coming, because we're in like a karmic reactor right now. With all it's like things are happening like super, super, because fifth house is ruled by Rahu is in the original fifth house. Fifth house is Purva Punya. So it's like literally like past life rewards as well can be coming through, because we got to get rid of that negative karma. And you can spiral forward or you can spiral down. It's like we're in like imagine we're in an elevator right now. And you're either going to go up really fast or you're going to go down really fast. For some people, not everybody.
And I was just going to reiterate, because to correct myself, that Mars isn't exalted in Scorpio, but it rules Scorpio. And Scorpio has a tendency to really go deep, right? And like, but this is an opportunity for us to really face our shadows. So again, if you haven't done enough shadow work in September or the rest of this year, you might have to do that. Yet, if you are working on a daily habit, a daily routine, bringing in breath work, like taking deep breaths when you're feeling overwhelmed, writing and things like that, that is what's going to get you through any underworld, any shadow energy. And what's beautiful is at the end of October, we all get to celebrate because it's Samhain. And we get that, magical Hallows Eve time.
Stop bed rotting. Get up.
Wow.
That's what this is, right?
That's deep.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
And it's interesting. Yeah, and I think
it's even funny. That.
No, but you know what? Some people, and because I'm like such a person, I've lived in ashrams, it's like, even if I'm gonna bed rot, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna take a shower, because that's just like what my habits are. But there are people who don't do that. So if it's just making your bed, if it's just making your bed every day, and that is what you commit to because you don't actually do that every day, then allow yourself to feel accomplished by one little thing. And that, I think, is really going to just pay off, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself and be like, okay, I'm going to do this 10 different things on my daily new routine. It's like, well, that's not practical. That's actually not Saturn at all. That's just like Pisces illusion. So we really want to make things practical. And I think going into November, we're going to see our fruits. I think that's when, personally, just by our conversation and feeling like the channeled message here, it's like November, although there will be miracles in October, I do feel that November will be a time for us to really see things. Like that's I don't know, you can tell me, but I'm feeling like that's where the harvest is really coming, because we've done the work through September, October, and obviously the whole year.
Let me look at that. Let me see. Venus Libra. Yeah, there's Jupiter retrograde. So I think it's actually like a lot of people are getting like blessings that are stretched out, and like the blessing gets exponentially better depending on how much daily work you put into it, how much you're willing to commit, because it's like a lot of responsibilities coming to some people. And in order for that to grow, and it will grow fast. If whatever you put into it, I train AI for a living, so like I kind of like can sense this on like a metaphysical scale, because it's like whatever you put into it, it's going to reflect that back to you as a mirror. So it's kind of like we're working with the universe like that, just as much as that. But Rahu is in Aquarius right now, so there is like that metaphysical reflection of the how humans are using technology right now, but also how the universe is reflecting back to us on a daily basis. Because when we unlock that type of technology in this realm, it also starts to kind of unhinge the ether a little bit. because we're literally playing with these different elements, but in like that hardware form. Whereas like people like us, psychics and oracles, we've been doing this shit forever, this stuff forever. Like dealing with the mirror, essentially the mirror of who we are as humans, species, beings on this planet. So see that in your own life, like whatever the routines and the rituals that do like right now, set yourself up for success, because we're telling you to expect that there is like a time of whatever you put in now, you're going to get it back. It's going to be a mirror for you. So
Yeah, and before we go into that November energy, I was just gonna pull a card, and it's interesting because it says I give blessings. And there is two people that look exactly alike, with butterflies in between them. And I think that there is something about that mirror aspect that you're saying. It's like what you feed feeds you, or what you don't feed makes you hungry, right? And it's like being able, because I know for our November like key takeaway is that there's a karmic feedback from this eclipse season. And so again, what are you doing on your day-to-day basis, and what are you telling the universe you're ready for? And if you're not telling the universe anything, and yeah, you're bed rotting and all these things, then you might find yourself a little still stagnant. And that's just, again, because that's what you're putting into the universe. And not to say that if you put so much in the universe, like bad things aren't going to happen, but when we are centered and when we are grounded, if bad things happen, we can navigate them with strength, with empowerment, with clarity, rather than being totally off and then thrown, somewhere else.
yeah, no, I get it. Like, and also for my water element here, earlier we had the releasing the past. This was definitely like K2 telling us, like, hey, release that past, because K2 represents the past. He wants us to let something go that's really attached to our ego, where we're like, this is so much a part of me. I could never see myself not being that anymore. But now when K2's in Leo, especially with Venus, it's like you thought that you wanted that, but you have no idea what the universe wants to give you. And you know what? I saw this TikTok the other day of this person. They were like, sometimes you're so close to the thing that's really meant for you. It's so big, you can't see it. And so I was like, wow, that's like really true. That's kind of like where a lot of people are right now, because K2 is going to be like this. He's going to be like, I don't want you to see. It's a surprise. K2 is the planet of hiding and veiling, but in a different way than Rahu. Rahu does it with theatrics. So it's like sort of like right in front of your face, and you're like, I know that's mine. You just try to get it, you try to get it, you try to get it. That's Rahu. But K2 is like, you don't even know. You don't even know that it's a surprise. You don't even know. So you're kind of like looking behind your back a little bit. Is the universe on my side? And that's when you pray. That's when you do sadhana. That's when you learn magic. That's when you go to a guru. That's when you learn astrology, because you're looking over your shoulder, but you're never alone. That's the
Yes.
whole lesson of K2. Well, Rahu will, he makes you really anxious for all this grandiose stuff right now, but channel that into the collective to help everybody you know
And
and that's where you're going to get some blessings. And so here we have the making waves. Rahu's ready to make waves, and we like that about him, because he was in Pisces for a long time, and now he's in Aquarius, where he loves to be. So momentum is building. It's your time, achievement. And like you were saying, as we're ending, what month are we in? October.
October.
Yeah, as we're ending October, it's right before Dia de los Muertos starts off November. So remember, all for your ancestors, all to connect with the lessons that you were meant to carry into this life. We're never alone. We're never doing something completely selfishly, right? It's like those are the lessons that we should be carrying right now.
I love that. And that leads us to November, where the veil is thin and the veil is lifted. So really allow yourself in November, because Pitru Paksha, for me, when Pitru Paksha happens, it is like Dia de los Muertos. It's like the beginning of the ancestor fortnight for the rest of, this time, basically to the winter solstice. And I think it's really important right now to do lineage work. Like really working with your lineage, because maybe the karmic debts that you're paying are for your for the generations before you or for the generations after you. And so when you sit down and you go, you know what, I'm gonna do these offerings for my ancestors, I'm gonna listen to this music, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna do these things in honor of my lineage, I think real breakthrough can happen. And it's actually going to be great because in November, right in that first week, right after Dia de los Muertos, um, obviously Venus is in Libra, and going into Scorpio, and then there's that Sun Venus conjunction in November 2nd to the 16th. And November 5th, we have a full moon in Parani, Aries. So this is actually starting like a new lunar cycle for the full moon. And so I think it's going to be very special for us because Barani is, we saw it, death. It is the yoni, it's the womb. And I know for a fact, like in my life and a lot of the women, or, femmes who have, yonis, it's all a lot of us are we having to detox. We're having to like really focus on that womb health. And I think that full moon, if you want to do a yoni steam, if you want to, do some womb work, November 5th will be a great day to do that.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And also today's the fourth day of Navaratri, which is Kushmanda, my favorite of the Navaratris of
The
the Navadurga.
cosmic egg.
Yeah, and so the pumpkin and representing like our prana. And I think that's why breath work came up earlier because we're supposed to be connecting to the prana. And it's actually such a rare gift to be able to breathe. And, we're experiencing something very cosmic when we breathe. It's like air is connecting us to all life. So that's where we need to, like you were saying, we need to heal. We need to heal our connection to life. And the easiest way to do that is through the breath. Easiest way to do that is through the breath. And also tea, apparently. Tea magic.
Ooh, drink those teas in
Reach into
November.
your subconscious, pull from the source, and weave magic with intention, and the answers will unfold. Everything is about unfolding right now because the whole thing with all the Pisces energy and then Rahu and Ketu and Leo and Aquarius and Pisces, that is very much like a mirror, like an infinity mirror, or like going up from the macro down to the micro. It's Alice in Wonderland. We're literally in that swirl about to enter into a new world, together, but in a really literal way based off of the planets. Because once Saturn goes into Aries, that starts a new Saturn cycle, which is the material world that we live in. So he's in the end, and Rahu and Ketu just got out of Pisces, which is the last house. So it is a new beginning, like literally. And then this breath work is saying things are going to unfold. Like I was saying, just like the macro from the micro, you kind of have to be that way by going back and forth between like connecting with spirituality, which is going to connect you to the micro, but doing it on a daily basis, like we brought up the ashram, finding your own rhythm, to embody those spiritual truths in your daily life so that it's helping you,
I love
really
that.
important.
And I think that's gonna come really full circle with Jupiter retrograde. So Jupiter retrograde starts November 9th and it goes all the way till March 11th, 2026. It starts in Cancer, it goes back into Gemini. So I know it's like kind of sucky sometimes, at least for me, like going through Cancer and then going back into Gemini, which again, I'm Jupiter in Gemini, in my natal chart. And so I know that there are going to be things that, again, there might be tests because Jupiter, when Jupiter goes retrograde, sometimes it actually gives blessings. So if you kind of feel like Jupiter hasn't really been showing up for you and you're like November 9th comes and you're like, well, shoot, Jupiter is going retrograde. It might be a positive thing for you. Not all retrogrades bring setbacks. Like some retrogrades bring blessings that haven't been able to be given to you. So look at how Jupiter is playing out in your chart because that can just show like some beautiful things coming to you, even though he's retrograde.
Yeah, one of the things I want to point out, because as you can see, like we're heading towards this Jupiter retrograde is like a huge thing, and Jupiter and Cancer is a big thing. So I kind of want to backtrack and say, like, from now until then, you don't have to rush or force anything. All you have to do is pick up the pieces and make sure you're getting things done that you might have put on the side. Like, if you want to start something new, you don't have to really force it right now because it's really important to kind of like clean house first, declutter first, prepare for when Jupiter goes into Cancer. Yeah, don't force anything because we also are going to have like a Mercury retrograde November 9th. And it's
Both of them.
important to not be in like a frantic, chaotic energy right now. Like, so important. If anything, that's what Saturn's teaching us. He's trying to show us, like, when you slow down, you can actually see what's important and you don't have to work as hard. Like, If you focus on what's important, you build the structure from the ground up. You don't have to work as hard, and you can go faster. You can work smarter. I think that's what Saturn really wants us to pick up while he's in Pisces, because it's easy to get lost with everything happening right now in the big ocean of everything. So, and Saturn goes slow. He's like a ship
Yeah.
sailing through the waters. So,
Yeah, that
yeah,
November 9th to November 29th is the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So again, that Scorpio energy is coming through in November because we look at, where the sun is directly in the on the ecliptic. And so the sun moves into Scorpio November 16th and then is there till December 15th. And I think that there's just something to say about Scorpio, although I did pull a card when we were talking about Jupiter, and it's time to take action. New moon in Aries. And I think it's interesting because we have a full moon in Aries during this November. And like you were saying, Raven, perhaps like making small like changes in habits and routines up till Jupiter goes retrograde and around that time of mid of November could really help us take bigger actions, right? Like
yeah,
for example, if you've been really wanting to do something and you're like prematurely doing it, maybe you don't do it that well. So take your time, build a plan, and when it's time, you will know to take action.
yeah. Yeah, totally. Especially with a lot of issues from now are going to be coming up then for Mercury. So just remember that. Like, oh, sorry, from October. So from mid-October, that's what Mercury retrograde is going to be bringing back. So if you're rushing right now, you're stepping over people, you're not considering like your values, your ethics, you're just like, dodging bullets, doing whatever you got to do kind of thing right now. Yeah, that's not gonna it's not gonna work out in your favor once Mercury goes retrograde over the same area in October. So treat people right, treat yourself right now, and then you'll see, you could see some results in your favor later on. So
I
don't
love
rush.
that. Yeah. And then we have the November 20th new moon, which is in Anuradha in Scorpio. So again, usually where the new moon is where sun is. So we understand that sun is in Scorpio. So the new moon is in Scorpio. And again, this is just time to just research, like things might be resurfacing and it's going to just show you how much have you healed this year. Like, have you done the healing work? If so, Scorpio shouldn't be any issue for you. But if you've been hiding things, suppressing things, not allowing yourself, and we're giving you like a little caution here, right? Because we're not in November yet. We still have a whole month before
I
we
felt like I
even
was in
get.
November for a second. I felt like I'm like, what month are we in?
So yeah, like we're not there yet. You do have time. Yet if you at this moment keep doing the same things that you're doing throughout this time till till November 20th, that new moon, you might find yourself still here. So
Yeah,
really, it is about you being able to forgive. It's about you having emotional closure. It's about you working through your grief so that when you get into winter time, you can be peaceful. Because I feel like that's what, Scorpio is there for a reason. It's not like Scorpio's actually not the worst sign. Anyways, I won't go into that, but a lot of people go, Scorpio, oh my gosh, but it's a water sign. It's just emotional. So if you can find yourself that grounding that you need, your commitment is being tested right here, fourth quarter moon. So I'm like, if you are not committed to your daily practice by November 20th, you will still be where you're at. So take this opportunity, if you're listening to this, if you feeling the vibration, to make small changes, because then you'll see great growth by November 20th.
yeah. I've started making those changes for myself like over the summer, and I've made so much. I've made so much change just like within like a month or two. And now I'm like, whoa, I mean, I'm gonna keep changing. So it works definitely right now. It's like we're in like a hyper chamber of change right now or something. I got
Mm,
the benevolent guide. That's one of the things we haven't talked about. With Jupiter being so like lit up in the sky in October. It's all and with a lot of air energy with Mars and Mercury and Venus and the sun going through Libra. It's really important to do higher education and to learn and to grow. So important. Connect with mentors, connect with gurus, connect with teachers. You be that for other people. So important to upskill. I mean, even if you look at the grand scope of living in the country right now, it's like the whole country's changing. It's like, got to learn something right now. Important
And
to
I
learn.
Yeah, and I love that, like you said, like be that for others. Yet, like even for me or for you, Ray, or anyone else that's like a practitioner here, you need to be in integrity, right? Like we need to be, if you are a mentor, if you are a guru, if, or not a, maybe not a guru, but if you are a mentor and you take that position of leading people, it's like really looking in the mirror, like because you're leading people to where you're at, basically, or beyond you, hopefully. But still, it really does show like where do you need to like revisit and like figure that out? So, are there more dates that you want to throw before we?
Yeah, we end November. Remember, like we were saying, like some of those manifestations, Jupiter and Saturn are going to be exchanging with one another by like mid-November. So be patient. Be patient. A lot of miracles, a lot of blessings could come once he goes retrograde. Just be realistic right now. Be very realistic, and then you can manifest something. It's important to balance like the realism and like the in your dreams right now. Be very practical. And then by the end of that month, it's important to know that Rahu is going to be moving into Shatabisha. Ketu is staying in the same nakshatra. He's going to be in Purva Falguni for a while, like until like next spring. However, Rahu is moving from Purva Bhadrapada to Shatabisha, which is a different energy. And so by the end of November, you have a lot of opportunities to start to tap into healing, alternative healing modalities, um, upgrading your skills in technology and understanding what's going on with that, and also connecting with wise people and taking your ideas that you think that don't matter in this world because they're too weird or something like that, and really going for it. That's what Rahu is going to bring us, and you're going to see that popping off by the end of November, and then Saturn goes direct on November 27th, and that's
And
how we end November.
and you know, one thing that one of the key takeaways we have here too that I haven't mentioned is the second chances, right? Do it better this time. You're gonna have a second chance, like Jupiter retrograde, Saturn going direct, Mercury retrograde. This is gonna be those challenges, those tests that are saying, have you learned your lesson? And can we move on? You know, can we move on from that vibration? I even posted before we got this. It's like, tell the universe you're ready for a new vibration. How do you tell the universe? You tell them by your daily actions, about how you speak to yourself, how you speak to others, how you show up in your relationships. Those are your daily actions that can ripple and that can make waves, like you pulled earlier.
Yeah, love it.
And just to kind of give a brief overview of December, not going too deep into it, and then maybe we'll just end with a little, a couple more cards here.
Mhm.
December 4th, we have a full moon in Taurus, Rohini Nakshatra. December 5th, Jupiter re-enters Gemini. So remember, he retrogrades in Cancer, which is still pretty, you know, benevolent. But on December 5th, he will go back into Gemini. So everything that has happened up to now since Jupiter's been in Gemini, you know, could be coming back to, again, test us. And we have a new moon in Mula Sagittarius, and that is December 20th, right before the solstice. And of course, we will come back on prophecy and share a little bit more of that energy for December. But really, because we're going into that winter energy, it's about replenishing yourself, restoring your energy, a lot of beauty and self-care, resilience. And I think this is a key takeaway for December, but I feel it for everything is don't overextend and prioritize what's sacred and what's needed in your life to feel good.
Yeah, let's pull some cards. Since it's the Mars year, I wanted to end with like a Mars driven message because Mars is my first house right now. And one of the things like you just mentioned in December was that the new moon is going to be in Sagittarius, but then right before that in early December, Mars goes into Sagittarius. So just kind of imagine like how this whole year we started off with being a Mars year, and imagine like you, the Mars warrior, you know, that warrior in you. We all have that in us, the primal energy, the drive, the courage. How has that changed? How has it been tested? How have you grown? What risks have you taken? Which mistakes have you made? Which wins
Mm.
have you had? What have been your successes? Because when Mars goes into Sagittarius by December, and then when we have that new moon in Mula, it's like game is on. So one of the things I want to point out before we pull these last cards is that Mars is combust from November 7th, from combust Scorpio all the way to Aquarius. So your efforts are going to sometimes be tested, warrior. You're going to feel like sometimes you're not getting the praise you deserve when this happens. So remember, you have to stay on task, and that's where spirituality comes in, and exercise. We didn't talk about that a lot, but physical fitness as much as you
Yes.
can with your abilities. So let's pull some cards on that.
I
Let's
love
tap in.
that. Yeah, I pulled some tarot and I got the Nine of Swords, which is usually a card of like insomnia and sleep problems and anxious anxiety. And so I pulled another card and it was the Knight of Wands. And so to me, the Knight of Wands though in this deck, like you can see, like there's still a lot of energy around him, but it's a little bit more orderly. And so I do find I am seeing and I'm tapping in because I see the Four of Swords here as well that prioritizing your rest is as important as your physical activities, as your decluttering. Because if you're not getting good enough sleep, it's gonna be really hard for you to like do your things. Because oh, Myra lost 10 pounds this month. Congrats.
Yeah, I lost
Um,
like 10 pounds too in the past couple months.
I love that. I'm trying to always like gain a little weight, so I won't say what I'm doing, but I'm trying to gain strength and muscles. Anyway, so what I see here that we're just having to really prioritize our daily routine, our daily habits, our anxiety, our nervous system, breath work, doing those things are really important to get us through the rest of this year.
Wow. And you know what? You bringing that up is such a Vishnu thing. And I got preservation. I pulled the Vishnu card because it's like we didn't even bring up our dude Vishnu. Like he is so important. Like if there's like any problem you
Preserver.
have, people say go to Ganesh, but really you go to Vishnu too, because like he's like the all. You can just chant to Vishnu. He's gonna help you with your Mercury. We didn't talk a lot about Mercury, go too
I
deep into
just got
Mercury other than
this.
Mercury retrograde, but really it's important to strengthen Mercury right now.
I was like showing, like, I just got
Yeah.
this little
He's
Vishnu
sleeping.
recently. Yeah. And I think that I love that, the preserver energy.
Yeah, preserving, right? Just preserve, just stay strong, but not strong where you're harsh. It's going to be easy to be harsh right now because of all the Mars energy that's happening right now in a Mars year. People are going to be mean, people are going to be tough, people are going to be freaking evil. Like we're already in it. So connect with Vishnu, connect with the preserver, connect with goodness. Like really do it spiritually, but practically too. I feel like it will help you channel something better in your life
Can we
and
just
connect
like,
and do your spirituality better.
yeah, I want to pull a card like what blessings are coming to the collective because I know
Oh
we
yeah.
talked a lot about like doing the work and these blessings will come, but let's see. Oh, I knew this card was going to come out when I grabbed this deck. It is literal Trinka 5, manifesting money and income. Do your daily habits and you will see abundance coming to you.
Okay, let me see what mine says.
I love this because I literally I feel this in my own life. Like I had a major financial loss this year. I have not talked about it. I'm not going to get into any details. It was a couple of months ago and I had to make some really big decisions about just a lot of different things. It was a very adult situation. And honestly, I know that I had to learn that big lesson. And since then, I have been just putting my head down and doing my work. And I have seen my work pay off. I've seen more gigs come to me. I've seen more opportunities. I'm seeing more fun. And so I can say right now that if you just put your head down and you say, you know what? I know I have had these lessons. They've been hard to learn, but guess what? I'm learning them and I'm going to learn them with grace and I'm going to have 100% faith in my ancestors, in my spirit team that I can manifest more money than I've ever known in my whole entire life. So that is my little blessing to everyone.
and
And
yeah,
Mhm.
piggybacking off of that, we got take action.
Oh, I
But
have
I
take
think
action here.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like I think that this take action is specifically talking about the thing that you don't believe. You're like, is that it? Should I do this? Should I trust that this is the thing that I should be doing? Yes. Like, yes, it is. Like, believe in yourself. Go for it. And like, that's why we've been talking about daily life so much today and like taking pieces off that sometimes taking action is like taking a little bite, taking a little bite and keep going because you're not supposed to procrastinate. And sometimes you could be in analysis paralysis because you're like, this is so much. I cannot do it. Just take a little bite, break it down, and do it
Simplify.
enough. Nothing will change if you don't take action and don't let these opportunities pass you by. These miracles that are coming, maybe some of them have like that godliness to them because it is Cancer and Jupiter. When he'd be in Pusha, he'd be like Oprah, like you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. But
Hey, I'm here
but
for it.
there's been a lot of Sagittarius energy that's activated, and Sagittarius is a little bit more sort of transactional. He's a little bit more like, what are you gonna do to earn? You got to do the work. So, like I said, we're ending on a Mars message. Take action, but do it with Vishnu as your guide so that you
Reserve.
can know the Sagittarian lessons that Mars is trying to teach us by the end of this year so we can step into that next level. Like, let's call it the Mula portal, because when the new moon sets in December, it's like we're getting to the root of who we're meant to be. Like from now, big change. Okay. So let's take that action for
I love
Mars.
that. That is so to me because I have take action, and I reiterated this in my Shadow Dance Mystics call yesterday. If you have a lot on your plate, how can you simplify it? How can you make your priorities like you can't accomplish one person especially can't accomplish five different things in one season. Pick your one, pick your two. Like I really just say two because any more than that is just it's just too much, right? And I'm not saying like oh, your body and your mind is two. No, it's like for my body, I'm going to do this one thing. For my mind, I'm going to do this one thing. For my physical business, I'm going to do this one or two things. But really being like super methodical even, and I feel like that's like a Virgo energy too. It's like the Virgo, and right now you have that opportunity to really tap into that Virgo until mid-October to really get a plan, a strategy so that you can preserve your energy and you're not burnt out by wintertime or by October.
Yeah. No, true. And lastly, I think this card wants to come out for the collective. Lavender, surround yourself with love. Remember,
Hmm.
let go of those toxic connections. Trust that the universe is going to give you something better.
Oh,
You
I love
have
that.
to surround yourself with love because the mirror is lit right now. The mirror is much, much activated right now. Whatever you surround yourself with, you will become next
You
year.
will become.
So come on.
Yep. And if you're not happy with what you've become because of your surroundings, then make some small changes and you
Small
can see
changes,
some big results. But you
big.
have to take small steps, right? Baby steps. It's okay. Baby steps are totally welcome. There's still steps. And sometimes you take a step back to take a step forward, but it's still a step. So really being honest about yourself, I think honest with yourself right now and seeing what can I accomplish and what can I focus on and make it practical, make it
Yeah.
real. Don't get caught into the illusions. Don't get caught, one thing and okay, you guys have to quote me on this because I'm gonna make a little meme, but live your dreams because they want you to live their lies, right?
Yes.
Like this is the time to say no. I'm not gonna live these lies anymore that have been fed to me. And even from my family
From
or
your
from
brain, from your
myself,
brain.
yeah, or from past lives. Like it's time to just let it go and walk forward in a new vibration. I really feel like, I mean, at least in my in my life, there is a new vibration being born within my being, and it's just up to me to step fully and embody it all. So yeah, I love this message for us, Raven. I
Thank
think
you.
this was beautiful. I think
I love it too.
we got this momentum going, and I think we started slow, which made sense too. Like we start slow and then it's like, give it to you, right? Because this is what is happening even with the season of autumn and the northern
Yeah, I feel
hemisphere.
like the energy right now is very much still like that smoky energy, sort of like what just happened? Like
We
what
just came
will
out of the
happen?
eclipses. Yeah.
Like, but yeah, much more clarity comes, and we're doing that work right now to bring that clarity. So remember the small steps because we might not know what the big thing is quite yet, but in your heart, you know.
Yep. I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for another prophecy autumnal forecast. We are again on Patreon as Prophecy Coven. We have free and paid memberships. When you give to us, we can continue to do this work. It's a passion of ours, but it's also a side project. But we would love to just keep, having this energy. So coming to the lives, supporting us and liking our posts or, sharing with a friend even is something that we are truly grateful for. And Raven, is there anything you would like to share with what you got going on or anything that, yeah, you want to share with the people.
Yeah, I mean, you could just reach out to me. I actually, my life's kind of dynamic all the time. So I recently stepped into another role at the tech company that I work at. But I'm mainly focusing right now on writing right now. So if you haven't been following my blog, Swamp Seer Log at Substack or my TikTok. Actually, I've been posting pretty regularly on TikTok. But yeah, kind of tune into my TikTok, Swamp Seer on TikTok, and follow me on Instagram, Swamp Seer. I haven't been doing that much putting out there readings, but if you do want a reading, please feel free to reach out to me. Just because I'm not posting about it doesn't mean I'm not doing it. But other than that, yeah, I'm doing a lot of art behind the scenes right now and learning a lot of new skills and technical things so I can bring some interesting things to the public. What about you, Daya?
I love that. Yeah, as always, my community, Shadow Dance Mystics, is there for you if you are a healer, an artist, or just, in the path of service and need a free resource. I have monthly community calls and offerings. It's all free. So please do join. It's on school.com/SDM. And also, if you would like to work with me, I have my soul retrieval journeys. I also have tarot readings, and I have a special offering that I'm doing right now called Vision Quest, which is a 30-day soul retrieval journey. So if you are interested, this is for people who are in those liminal realms, kind of what we've been talking about. Something is happening. There's something underneath that you just need to figure out what it is. We can explore that together. And yeah, so just DM me, message me Vision Quest or that you're interested, and I can send you a personal invitation. Other than that, I'm making a move. So, by the end of October, I'll be somewhere else. And I'm just super excited, though, just to keep doing what I'm doing, writing more. I have a lot of ideas. So, hopefully, on the next prophecy, I can maybe share a big announcement in regards to a big idea I have. But again, taking my time, not rushing, really getting everything all in order so that next year, I can kind of go it that way. But other than that, I'm just super pleased to be here with you, Raven, and work with you. And thank you guys, Myra, Jay, Dalma, and those watching YouTube or watching the recording
Thank you so
for
much.
joining us. And let us know if you have any questions or if you need anything. Like, feel free to reach out to us. We're pretty friendly and pretty open to talk. So
Thank you.
just
Oh, is
come
this
through.
turn Jupiter Aura?
Yay! Well, I'm gonna turn off the live stream. So thank you so much for watching.
Thank y'all.
And then we'll turn off this recording. Thank you guys. Lots of peace. Jai Ma.
Peace. Bye, Myra. Thanks for coming.